Good morning, everyone, on this Wednesday of the 10th week in Ordinary Time. You probably noticed my glasses are dark. I couldn't figure out where I put my phone, and I've been wandering all over trying to figure out where it was, and I was outside walking, and my new glasses are a transition one, so they're dark for a little bit. They'll probably get lighter as the time goes by. But we are reading, continuing our reading in 2 Corinthians, and we're in chapter 3, verses 4 through 11. Brothers and sisters, such confidence we have through Christ toward God. Not that of ourselves we are qualified to take credit for anything as coming from us. Rather, our qualification comes from God, who has indeed qualified us as ministers of a new covenant, not of letter, but of spirit. For the letter brings death, but the spirit gives life. Now, if the ministry of death carved in letters on stone was so glorious that the children of Israel could not look intently at the face of Moses because of its glory that was going to fade, how much more will the ministry of the Spirit be glorious? For if the ministry of condemnation was glorious, the ministry of righteousness will abound much more in glory. Indeed, what was endowed with glory has come to have no glory in this respect because of the glory that surpasses it. For if what was going to fade was glorious, how much more will it endures be glorious? The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Well, we were in chapter 1 yesterday, and now we're already in chapter 3, so we skipped over a number of chapters, but there is a rhetorical question that is offered that Apostle Paul does, more in a rhetorical way, about who is competent. Because there was a contention within the church at Corinth about, is Apostle Paul really qualified to be able to share the gospel? And there were so-called other ones who said, we're far more qualified to instruct you how to be. So in this sense, Apostle Paul has to address this, but he addresses it in a way that I think is quite telling. He said, such confidence we have through Christ toward God, not that of ourselves are we qualified to take credit for anything. No one is qualified. No one. The only one who's qualified is God and God alone. So if you're trying to pin one or after the other, that's not where it's going to be. The qualifications is in God. And when God comes and he qualifies a minister, then that minister has that qualification. And here then he introduces the ministry that he feels is so strongly been given to him, a ministry not of the letter, but of spirit. So there is a contrast that's going on here to saying those who feel so strongly that we need to go back to, being under the law is not the best way to go. It should be under the Spirit. Now, we must qualify this. It's not as if Apostle Paul is anti-law, not by a long shot. But what he is saying is that the law in and of itself does not make one righteous. In fact, the law may be just constantly badgering us, saying how much we are disqualified. We just don't make it. So what we need is something far more powerful, and that is the work of the Holy Spirit in our lives, motivating us, prompting us, moving us forward. That is the most important thing. Again, not against the law itself. The law is good. It's perfect. But what we need is something that's going to help us in our own spirit, because we are so prone to be anti-law in carrying out things, or to become prideful, thinking, I follow the law and therefore I got it all together. When in fact, maybe there may be a whole lot more behind the scenes that we're not even aware of. So the work of the Holy Spirit is far, far, far more glorious. And so he does this by contrast of what happens at Mount Sinai with the glory that was on Moses, that they had to even cover him because it was so glorious. And he said, how much more will the work of the Holy Spirit in one person's life to transform us, change us, prompt us when we are open to the Holy Spirit's work in our lives? How much more glorious will that be? I hope we're all learning how to walk by the Spirit. Stay safe, folks. Hopefully we see each other soon. Bye for now.